Hello and welcome to pmclounge.com. This is Lounge Fever, a series of videos where we try to answer your questions. In this video, we are taking a look at the difference between story maps and task boards. Now, if you want to go over other such videos where we have answered your questions, your Agile FAQs, I'll drop a link to that playlist in the description below. So check out the first link in the description. We've also covered these two topics separately. What is a story map and what is a task board? We've covered these topics as well. So I'll drop those videos, second and third link in the description. Similarly, we have created several agile concept related videos. So that playlist will also be in the description. So in a nutshell, do check out the description. Let's get started. So do you remember the two? Like I said, we've already created videos on these two, but just for the benefit of everyone, let's go over quickly on what these two topics really are. Story maps, they help in visualizing the product backlog. So this is essentially the product backlog, and this is your release plan. In release one, you are going to be doing a walking skeleton. You are going to deliver the MVPs, you are going to deliver the features that can help bring the product up and running. That's the whole idea, right? So story maps in a nutshell is basically giving you a visualization of the product backlog and a release plan. But when it comes to a task board, which is also known as a Kanban board or a Scrum board, it basically answers three questions. What are the user stories that are in to-do list? What are the user stories in progress list? And what are the stories in the done list? So in your ongoing project or your ongoing sprint, what is the status of that sprint? That is being represented by a task board. This is typically used in a Scrum environment. So while the product backlog is focusing on the entire while the story maps is focusing on the entire product backlog, the task board is focusing only on the ongoing sprint. So are they the same? Of course not. We just discussed how both of them display very different information. They both basically provide you different view of what's happening with your product backlog and your sprint backlog. So task board, it is going to give you an up-to-date look at the sprint backlog. It can share the status of each story in the sprint as well. So if you click on, let's say, sample story 3, it can give you more details about what this story is. But on the whole, if you take a look at this, you will realize what is the status of a sprint really is. And the user stories that you're going to see in a task board are basically from the sprint backlog. Next is story maps, and we talked about it, how story maps gives a view of the stories of the in the product backlog. So it is more to do with the product backlog. It has more to do with where the product is going. It has more to do with what is the release plan of the product. So story maps, they deal with product backlog at the product backlog level. Task boards, they deal with sprint at the sprint backlog level. So they are definitely not the same. Of course, there are softwares that can help you create your story maps or your task boards. You can simply use a whiteboard and sticky notes to create your story maps or task boards. That is also possible. But the kind of information that the two represent are totally different. A quick reminder, head over to pmclounge.com/community. This is where our community members, they share their experiences, testimonials. We have Facebook and LinkedIn groups. Everything's totally free. Check it out. Question for this video, do you use story maps or task boards on real life projects? And how has your experience been while using these tools? Let me know in the comments. Definitely looking forward to your answers. And that's all that we had in this video. If you have any such questions for us, drop them in the comments. I respond to all comments possible. And if I feel that the question is something that can help the larger community, I create videos on them just like this one. Like, share, subscribe. If you like our work, consider contributing at pmclounge.com/contribute. Thank you.